As I have already mentioned in my previous videos that Acharya Prashant Ji's perspectives on sex and specifically marriage are absolutely naive with all due respect. Now, in lots of videos of his, he claims that women were oppressed since centuries, and this has also become a common narrative, a common thought process in today's society. Though I beg to differ, and in fact claim that women were never oppressed and abused by men, neither in previous generations nor in today's generation. It's just that it has always been the weak who has been oppressed and abused by the powerful. What do I mean by this now? Ask yourself. Is it ever possible for the weak to ever oppress the powerful? No, it is not. It is impossible. Or does the powerful ever display the audacity to oppress and abuse the powerful? No, that never happens as well. It is always the powerful who abuses his power and oppresses the weak. Let's say, in a certain situation, if the wife is being oppressed by her husband, that means in that situation, the husband would surely be powerful. That is why he is capable enough to abuse his power in order to oppress his wife. Let's say in a certain situation, if the husband is being oppressed by his wife, then in that situation, his wife would surely be powerful. And that is why she is capable enough to abuse her power in order to oppress her husband. So if you observe sufficiently, neither men nor women were ever abused. It was always the weak who got oppressed and abused by the powerful. That's all that is. For us, it seems like women were oppressed and abused just because we are looking towards this issue through the lens of identities. Just because we have over-identified ourselves. Now, Acharya Prashant Ji also talks about how identities are automatically dropped in the spiritual process. And it is very weird for me. If all the identities are dropped within a spiritualist, then that spiritualist can never look towards any issue through the lens of identities, because that lens itself has dropped. So how does he claim about this aspect? Because he does look towards this issue through the lens of identities. That means he himself has over-identified himself as well. he is still cling to several identities. Now, I'm not looking down on him at all. It is just that I have this understanding of this natural state of mind which happens with the spiritualists. Now, when I say that it is just because of over-identification, we are looking towards this issue through the lens of identities. What do I mean by this? Let's say, if I over-identify myself as a Sikh, then I would claim that we as Sikhs faced a genocide from 1978 to 1994-1995. And if I claim and look towards this issue in such a way, then I would also claim that it is the Hindus who committed our genocide. And in this situation, I will surely develop hatred towards Hindus. Exactly in the same way, if women feel that they were oppressed by men for centuries, then they would also automatically develop hatred towards men. And this is already happening. It is very clearly visible. Because women, through the concept of feminism and through the speeches of people like Acharya Prashant Ji, are made to feel like a victim. And if they are made to feel like a victim, then automatically, who is going to become the culprit for them? Naturally, the opposite gender. That is why they are developing hatred towards the opposite gender. And in today's era, in return, you can see that they are receiving hatred from the opposite gender as well. This is also happening in today's date, which is really, really sad. Already, human beings are divided in the name of several identities, in the name of caste, creed, religion, color, language, countries, and so on. And this is the worst kind of division which is happening in between human beings in the name of gender. And it is the people in power who are triggering this gender war, because they want the marriage system to completely collapse so that they could benefit out of it. That is why, through the concept of feminism, they are making women feel like a victim and hence misguiding them. And it is quite weird. I have seen young girls, 13 years, 12 years, 14 years, and so on. And these teenagers have developed unnecessary hatred towards their fathers, towards their brothers, just because of this victim mentality. Because for them, women were oppressed and abused by men since centuries. And if they identify themselves as a woman or a girl, then in this situation they would feel like they were also abused and oppressed by men, including fathers, brothers, husbands, and so on since centuries. This is what this concept of feminism is doing with women. It is making them feel like a victim and pushing them towards narcissism, because victim mentality is the strongest trait of a narcissist. And it is very evident when a person constantly keeps on feeling like a victim, essentially that person is no longer a victim. In fact, that person is transforming oneself into a culprit, because that person is becoming a narcissist. That is why we need to stop looking towards this issue through the lens of identities. That is why people like Acharya Prashant Ji needs to stop strengthening this narrative that women were victims since centuries. He needs to stop creating narcissists out of women so that they could also take their own responsibility. They could also take accountability of their own mistakes as well. Now, I'm not saying that every woman feels in the exact same way, thinks in the exact same way, but up to a lot of extent, this has become a generalized thought process.